This is a steal for the Rams. 3 new trade targets that fit the roster perfectly, as well as new rumors about a Rams player being on the block. All that and more on this episode of Rams Digest. And welcome back to another episode of Rams Digest. I'm your host, Joshua Finehirsh. And before we get into today's video, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 5K, 5,000 subscribers. So if you're not already subscribed, make sure to hit that sub button and click that notification bell. Click all so you get notified and never miss whenever we post our daily new Rams Digest video content covering all things Rams. And make sure to leave a like on this video as well. Game 5 of the World Series tonight. Blake Snell on the mound versus Trey Savage. Dodgers coming off of a tough loss after the marathon of Game 3. So leave a like on this video for the Dodgers to win. Let's go Dodgers. And tomorrow, Week 9 getting underway here in the NFL season with the Ravens at the Dolphins. Should be a good one on Thursday night. And Josh and I will be back streaming this coming Sunday for the Rams-Saints afternoon game. Should be live at around 12:50 p.m. Pacific time. So like this video if you are going to be joining our stream on a Sunday, and so that you don't miss a beat on any new Rams content this NFL season. And now we have to get into 3 new trade targets for the Rams in the wake of the Tutu Atwell injury. And this is from LAFB Network, which we will be getting into right now. The LA Rams received more bad news this week as wide receiver Tutu Atwell landed on IR, sidelining him for at least 4 games. Atwell, who has struggled to fully capitalize on opportunities behind Matthew Stafford's elite wideouts, leaves a gap in a Rams receiving core already managing injuries to Puka Nacua and other key targets. With the NFL trade deadline looming on November 4th, Rams general manager Les Snead may have the perfect opportunity to add depth, particularly a wide receiver. Nate Atkins of The Athletic highlighted 3 potential fits for LA: New Orleans' Rashid Shaheed and Brandon Cooks, and former Rams wide receiver Josh Reynolds with the New York Jets. All these guys could fit, but we have more analysis to get into about these specific players right now. And Shaheed, 27, offers blazing speed and has averaged 9.6 yards per target across 4 seasons. Brandon Cooks, who is 32, brings familiarity with McVay's offense after stints with the Rams in 18 and 19. As Atkins notes, Shaheed has all kinds of speed, while Cooks' prior experience in LA could smooth a mid-season transition. New Orleans' current season has them positioned as potential sellers. Rookie quarterback Tyler Show is starting with the franchise, the franchise appears focused on developing talent rather than contending immediately. Sports Illustrated Gilbert Mazzano identified Shaheed, Cooks, and cornerback Alontae Taylor as potential trade candidates, giving Snead a rare chance to evaluate them firsthand when the Saints visit SoFi Stadium this Sunday, November 2nd. Yeah, that is definitely going to be interesting. How much is Les Snead going to be watching this game specifically to see if these guys fit? I don't see a trade for a second corner, because we already got Roger McCreary. We're going to have Witherspoon coming back at some point within the next month here. So I don't see a trade for another corner really helping that much. I can see a trade for a receiver if Atwell's out for more than 4 games. Again, going into some of these options, Shaheed is 6 foot, 180 pounds, Pro Bowler and an All-Pro 1 year. 39 catches, 431 yards, and 2 touchdowns on an 11.1 average throughout this entire NFL season so far. So he's doing pretty well on a team that so far has not been doing the best so far throughout this NFL season. A 4.43 40. So again, the blazing speed is not as fast as Atwell. Atwell does have a faster 40, and he's on a $5.2 million contract. So again, pretty decent price there for someone in the prime of their career. He will be a free agent though after this year. So interesting to see if he'll be brought back if they do sign him. And obviously Brandon Cooks, 5'10", 193, 17 catches, 149 yards, no touchdowns, 8.8 average. Definitely a bit on the back end of his career now at the age of 32. He does have a 4.33 40. Again, that was, over 10 years ago, so it might be closer to 4.4 now. But he is on a $7.7 million salary, so also not bad. He has an opt-out after this year, so I believe it's a player opt-out. I don't know for sure. Both of those were brought to us by SpotRack, those contracts, and SpotRack did not have listed whether it was a coach or, a team or a player opt-out, so yet to be determined on that. But I do like both of these fits. Brandon Cooks obviously was a key part of the Super Bowl team, the team that first made the Super Bowl in 2018 along with Cooper Kupp before he got hurt and Robert Woods there. So he has that familiarity with Sean McVay, which again, as this article notes, could smooth that transition, which I like. I'd prefer Shaheed because of his age, and I feel like he's someone who can kind of play with Puka for a long time. Because you want to find a number 2 receiver that can play with Puka and also do something a bit different than Puka. You want to have different types of receivers in your offense, but we do have some more players to get to here in this article. And Josh Reynolds, 30, is no stranger to Los Angeles. From 2017 to 2020, he played under Sean McVay and has averaged at least 8 yards per target over the last 4 seasons, according to Atkins. While he is yet to align with Jets quarterback Justin Fields this season, Reynolds' size and speed make him a mismatch for defenses and a ready-made contributor in McVay's offense. Snead could realistically acquire Reynolds for minimal draft capital, potentially adding an experienced option who understands the system. Yeah, again, if Josh Reynolds makes sense, all these guys would be pretty cheap trades. Shaheed would be a little more. Shaheed you probably would get one. The Saints would probably want a day 2 pick, probably a 3rd rounder. But for Brandon Cooks and Reynolds, maybe even a 6th or a 7th would suffice. You don't really need to give up too much more than that. I can definitely see both of those being options here for this Rams team. And more on Josh Reynolds. 11 catches, 101 yards, 9.2 average, no touchdowns. 6'3", 192. Again, he does have good size, as this article noted. He's on a $2.75 million salary, so again, very cheap. And he is a free agent this offseason, so if you want to bring him back, probably just give him a $3 million deal for another year, and he would accept that. So getting him on a good price would be key. 4'5", 240. Again, he's a bit of a bigger target, not known to be blazing fast, but certainly not slow by any means for an NFL receiver. So I do prefer Shaheed the best. If someone were to ask me which one would I want Shaheed because of the age. Being 27, he can play with Puka for like at least probably 4 to 5 more good years before he really starts to slow down, which I really think is important in a receiver that the Rams are trying to trade for. You want to find someone who could complement Puka. Maybe not your number 2 or 1A, but Rashid Shaheed is a guy who at his best has made a Pro Bowl. He's made an All-Pro team. Again, the Pro Bowl is a bit of a popularity contest, but all Pro teams, matter quite a bit. So I definitely could see all these guys fit this team, but I think Shaheed fits this team the best if they do decide to make a trade for a receiver, because it's not the most pressing thing. Again, a lot of you in the comments, and I agree that O-line would be the other area that I'd want the team to make a trade for. But if it does get reported, because right now we don't know how long Atwell is out, but if it gets reported he's out for 7 or 8 games, then I would definitely say make a trade for a wide receiver, because you need a deep threat. Because Puka, and Devontae is a better deep threat overall than Puka, because Devontae's a bit faster, but you don't really have that's a guy who can go downfield for us. And that's something they hoped they had in Atwell. Again, Atwell's been not really used this season, partially due to himself, partially due to the schemes. So we have to wait and see what the Rams will do. And comment down below right now what you think the Rams will do at receiver. Will they trade for one? Will they not? I want to know if they do. If it's one of these 3, I would prefer Rashid Shaheed. Again, Jacoby Myers is out there as well, and Jalen Waddle, but I don't see them trading for Jalen Waddle unless if you're going to decline Devontae's option next year, because Jalen Waddle has the chance to be better than Devontae for the next few seasons, obviously. So that's the only way I'd make a trade for Waddle, is if the Rams really believe he's that number 2 next to Puka, and I don't see them giving up the draft capital, and I wouldn't for a guy like Waddle or Myers. Not because they're bad, because that's not what the Rams have to do at this current moment. But comment down below right now your thoughts on this. I would do Rashid Shaheed out of any of these players, but let me know down below. And for our second story of today, we also have some new rumors about a Rams tight end being on the block to create some cap space, and this is from Rams Wire, and we're going to get into it right now. The NFL trade deadline is roughly a week away, and the LA Rams have already engaged in discussions, swinging a trade for cornerback Roger McCreary from the Tennessee Titans on Monday. With the deadline coming next Tuesday, everyone is speculating who could be the next player on the move, including ESPN, who put together a list of players teams could trade away and who they could be interested in trading for. Yes, they did. I've read this list, and there is a Ram on this list, which we will be getting into shortly here, so stay tuned. And while the Rams probably aren't looking to get rid of anyone off their roster as they look to make a run over the coming months, ESPN's Sarah Barshop believes if they were to move on from anyone in a trade, it would be tight end Colby Parkinson. I mean, actually, I have a quote from Barshop about this right now. There aren't many players to choose from on this team, as the Rams are more likely to be adding at the deadline, Barshop wrote, as they already have added. But if a tight end needy team called, Los Angeles could part with one of their 4 they have on its roster. Parkinson probably would make the most sense, as he is in the second season of the 3-year deal he signed in 2024. Parkinson has played only 28.5% of offensive snaps for the Rams this season and has 7 catches for 58 yards. This is from ESPN Rams reporter Sarah Barshop. I do agree with Sarah here. I think Colby Parkinson is the guy to go if you are going to trade somebody. Again, what you get for him, I don't think is necessarily going to be great, because he's not really a top-end level talent at his position at all. But I could definitely see this happening if you just want to get an extra late-round pick like you did with the McCreary trade it looks like the Rams could be gearing up to make a draft night trade. I know it's very far in advance, but just acquiring extra picks, you never know. NBA 5 second-round picks get moved in trades, so having late-round picks definitely matters when trying to make trades, especially when it involves multiple draft picks, which could make sense for the Rams. They don't need to draft a ton of rookies. Maybe you want to keep it to 3 or 4 this year because you want these guys to play more. But yeah, again, this does make sense if you are the Rams, because the contract's not great and it's better than just cutting him, which is what I think could happen in the offseason anyway. So I'd much rather them do this than cut him. And LA hasn't gotten much from their tight ends this year, so they could be willing to move on from Parkinson for the right price. However, with his production, the Rams would probably only get a late day 3 pick or a pick swap out of the deal. So general manager Les Snead and head coach Sean McVay would have to determine if the return is worth giving up the extra depth at the position at this point in the year. Again, yeah, but I mean, this would open up more for Terrence Ferguson too. That's the other thing. I know a lot of you in the comments, Josh and I, we've been saying when Terrence Ferguson gets his shot, he's been delivering, and I think it's time to give him some more. And Davis Allen has been awesome so far, and Tyler Higbee is your kind of veteran and you're kind of your soul of the tight end room, and he's someone when you need him to will always step up because he knows the system well. And so having 3 tight ends, and they have another one on the practice squad as well, I think is enough. And even then, there's so many people you can sign that are NFL caliber to be a 4th string tight end that's not really going to see the field much in this Rams offense. So I don't think trading Parkinson really, you don't lose too much depth. If they were to trade Davis Allen, then I would agree that Davis Allen, I think, has provided more value than Parkinson, but Parkinson hasn't really done much at all this year. Or last year, I got why he got such a big contract because of the Higbee injury. He just needed somebody in there. But now that Higbee's back healthy, Parkinson has just not necessarily been the plus to the team that you really hoped for heading into this year and last year when you signed him to a 3-year deal. An argument could be made either way because LA does have Tyler Higbee, Davis Allen, and Terrence Ferguson on the 53-man roster, and undrafted rookie Mark Redmond on the practice squad if needed. That could be enough depth to warrant a move. I think it is. Again, you just get an extra pick, and Colby Parkinson's not somebody where you're like, he's going to win us a Super Bowl. Most likely, you'd expect that kind of X factor to be Terrence Ferguson as the season goes on and not Parkinson. So I would support this trade, even if it's only for a 6th, 7th round pick. I would support it. Comment down below right now what you think about this trade as well, or if there's anyone on the roster that you think should be moved. I know some of you in the comments are saying sell high on one of Corum or Kyren, but so I've seen those comments already. But if there's anyone new, comment that down below as well. And that is all for this episode of Rams Digest. Make sure to hit that subscribe button right now. We're on the road to 5K, 5,000 subscribers. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, click all so you get notified and never miss whenever we post our daily new Rams Digest video content covering all things Rams so you don't miss a beat this NFL season. Leave a like on this video right now for Josh and I being back streaming for the second half of the season starting Sunday at around 12:50 p.m. Pacific time, as well as leave a like on this video. Week 9 getting underway tomorrow night, Thursday night, and leave a bold prediction for this week in the comments down below as well. Leave a like as well one last time for Game 5 of the World Series, Dodgers versus Blue Jays at 5 p.m. here Pacific time. I got the Dodgers winning as always. Comment down below some World Series picks as well, and as always, your thoughts on the trades I mentioned in this video, and if they need to trade for a receiver not named in this video, who do you think it should be? And if you agree that they need a receiver and it's one of the 3 I talked about, which one of the 3 and why? I say Rashid Shaheed is the best one. I've been your host, Josh of Finehirsh, as always. Thank you very much for watching another episode of Rams Digest. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you soon for another one. Have a great rest of your day, and let's go Dodgers.